Welcome to the Achievers operating system. This is a very, very simple system that allows anybody to achieve great success in their life at whatever they decide to commit to. This is also a presentation that I delivered in Colombia for the Bit Sports Gathering of Titans event, and I've delivered this training many times in various guises. We've simplified it to 5 major points so that you can use this straight away and get outstanding results. Please feel free to take as many notes as you want. Please feel free to adapt this system using the 5 principles that we're going to teach for your own purposes. And please feel free to take this system and to train it and use it with your teams, with your friends, whatever. This system does not belong to me. I have just refined this system. It's a system that's based on ancient principles, and it's a system that works. This system is your system. Take it, run with it. You've got my full permission, and this is my gift to you. Okay, so first of all, who am I? For those that don't know me, my name is Matt W. Nerona. I'm a coach, a trainer, an investor, and also a consultant based in the beautiful county of Bedfordshire, just outside of London. My background is one of business consulting and also directing sales teams all around the world for many, many years for some of the most successful marketers from the UK and from the USA. I first came across this system a few years ago when I was working with a very, very successful gentleman who is now earning in excess of $12 million a month personal income, okay? And he had an incredible story, which I will talk to you about a little bit in a moment. And through that story, he developed this system. I used to train his private clients in sales, and we used this system to help entrepreneurs, high net worth individuals, and investors to overcome places in their life where they were stuck. Here is the thing, guys and gals, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you go in life, whatever level you reach, there will be new places where you will get stuck. There'll be new places where you'll be challenged. There'll be new places which will call deeper parts of you to life. And this system you can use throughout your life. You can use in your business life, in your personal life, in any aspect of your life where you want to get better results. And that's why I like it. Some of you will know all of this already. Others of you will go, yep, I know all of that. Let this be a reminder then for you, because this is a system that works. And I promise you, if you use it in the way that we deliver it, you will get absolutely phenomenal results, okay? So the Achievers operating system is a system that we use with our private clients. I've used for many years with high performers in any environment or sector, okay? We've used it with people that want to trade the markets and keep mentally sharp. We've used it with business owners who are having problems scaling their businesses. We've used it with entrepreneurs, with startups. We've used it with professionals. I've got a couple of clients at the moment that are dentists, and they've just bought a new facility in Leicestershire. We've used it with them, and they've absolutely done some incredible things with that business, making them the #1 aesthetic dental business in the UK. We've also used it a lot with salespeople who have targets, and they've got metrics and performance sort of measures that they have to meet each month. And we've used it in network marketing to help people go from 0 to absolute hero, okay? And that works really well. In fact, a little personal story of mine. Today, I signed up a multiple 8-figure networker in my network marketing business, Bit Sports. And, you know, he's somebody that's done over $50 million in his career in network marketing. Incredible guy. I can't reveal his name right now, but he's in the team and he's all in. He told me today, I want to be the first diamond in the company, and I believe him. And I can tell you something, he will outwork pretty much everyone that I've met in the industry space. The crazy thing is, 10 years ago, when I started in network marketing, I didn't know how to build a team. I didn't know how to sign someone up. I was hopeless. I was very good at selling, but I wasn't very good at building a team. In fact, my first team, it took me more than 6 months to build a team of 12. And most of those people I paid in myself or convinced them to join under some kind of promise of something. I wasn't very good at all, had zero duplication. And I used to see this guy on stage and think, man, I want to be like him one day. And today I actually signed him up into my business. That is an incredible story for me. But again, this is not about me. Doesn't matter where you are today in any area of your life, okay? The past is in the past. You have a clean slate. And today we're going to help you to have a blueprint of what actually works so that you can go out and get whatever you want. And this is a system that is based on success, for success, by people that are very, very successful and get results day in, day out. And I've got to tell you something. I think it's the good book says, you know, that the Almighty is not a respecter of persons. And I'm not here to get religious or anything like that. You know, we have different models of the world and we respect each and every one of them. But I think there's something there that literally says it's not about the individual. It's about who you're being, what you're doing. Those two pieces will dictate what you get in life. If I can do it, you can do it. If this serial 8-figure earner can do it, I can do it, and so can you, okay? So guys, there's no prejudice, there's no bias here. This is a system that just simply works if you will put it to work. Now, the first thing that I do want to talk about as part of the frame to this training is the fulfillment criteria. As I've said before, we've worked with entrepreneurs all around the world for pretty much the last 20 years. And we have 3 pillars of criteria that must be met for an entrepreneur, a business person, a professional, basically somebody that's ambitious to get ahead in life. And that is income, lifestyle, legacy. Literally, every problem that you meet in the world today can pretty much be solved, improved, or bettered, okay, by these 3 pieces. So when I meet an entrepreneur, I meet an ambitious person, or I meet a guy that wants to get a better life in some format, I'm looking for what's missing in these 3 pieces: income, lifestyle, legacy. I know lots of entrepreneurs, business people, okay? They have income. They're working a lot of hours. They've got a lot of income. They don't have much lifestyle. So they're working literally all the hours of the day, all the hours of the week. They rarely get a holiday. They really get like a break. When they do get a break, it's like for a day on a bank holiday or something, and they're thinking about the next day, the business day, okay? They have money, they have income, they have cash flow, but they don't have lifestyle. We then get another type of entrepreneur that I really love working with, right? And I've got so many of them right now, but I could tell you about. They have income, they have lifestyle, they are having fun, okay? I've got a friend of mine, he lives in Barcelona. He has a yacht, he comes over to Bedfordshire, where he's also got a place. He lives here kind of 3 months of the year, a couple of months on the yacht, lives in Barcelona, goes over to the West Indies. He likes the British Virgin Islands, does all of that kind of thing, right? He's got a great lifestyle and he's got a great income. And I can tell you now, when I meet him, he says to me, Matt, there's got to be something else. Because like he's doing the restaurants, he's doing the yachts, he's doing the holidays, he's got the adventure going on, he's got the lifestyle, but there's still something missing. And so with him, we know that income's ticked. We know that lifestyle's ticked. I mean, income, he owns over 250 properties in the UK. He's got restaurants in Barcelona. You know, income is ticked nicely. He never has to work another day in his life. Lifestyle ticked very, very nicely, but inside he still feels that something is missing. So here we work with him on legacy. So I say, Mr. X, I won't give his name. What are you going to leave when you're gone? What are you going to leave behind on planet Earth? What are your grandchildren going to say about you? What is your community going to talk about when they hear your name in 100 years or 50 years? What piece of work or literature are you going to leave? What foundation are you going to leave that's bigger and beyond yourself? And now he's lit up because now he's got the income, he's got the lifestyle, and now he's thinking about legacy. What's he going to leave? What's he going to give back? And if you look at some of the most successful people on the planet, you know, Richard Branson, you know, Alan Sugar, these kind of guys, there's a big part of them which is philanthropic, which is like the giving back side of them. It doesn't have to be charity work. It could be a piece of work, a piece of literature that you want to impact a way of thinking or something like that, okay? So we look for these three. So it's all very well having goals and getting a system to go and get more stuff, guys. But if you're not working on your income, your lifestyle, and your legacy, you are not going to be fulfilled as an ambitious individual, okay? I hope that makes sense. You can let me know. But that is a very, very simple criterion for you guys that are in network marketing. There's many of my Bit Sports family members here on this call. When you're talking to prospects that aren't getting it straight away, you want to look at those three areas and think, okay, what's missing? Because I talk to people that have a lot of income. So I'm not going to lead with the income on the product. I'm going to lead maybe with the lifestyle. I've just been to Colombia. I'm going to Dubai. We might be doing something. Okay, they light up because they've got the income, but they want to be part of something where we're going to meet every 4, 5, 6 times a year in multiple locations around the world. They kind of like that thing, right? Or it might not be they want to do the whole tribe kind of thing, right? It might be they just want to make more money so they can take that extra skiing holiday, or they can go to Barbados, you know, for the summer holiday instead of maybe going to the Med. You know, nothing wrong with the Med, guys. It's all choice. Some people literally, they just want to stay at home and not go to work for a month. And that's really cool as well. We are all different. We've all got different flavors and different models of the world and different preferences. Some like skiing, some like beaches, some like cities. That's me. I like cities. I like city breaks, right? And some like the whole damn lot, okay? And that's absolutely cool as well, okay? So remember, it's always about choice. Find out what's missing and how your product can be a part or a whole of a solution to that gap, okay? And then sometimes you'll meet people, they have the income, they've got the lifestyle, but they're not giving back, so they feel something's missing and they're getting more income and they're getting more lifestyle, but it's not fulfilling them. That's the point where they really should be looking at doing some stuff to give back just that's bigger than them and will outlast their life, okay? Very important, is fulfillment criteria before we move forward. Now, the other piece that I want to talk about here is, you know, happiness, because it's great to have goals, guys. And it's great to have a goal for your finances, for your family, for your, you know, your health, for, you know, your career, you know, maybe a spiritual goal. You know, these are all really big pieces, your intimate relationship, etc. These are all huge pieces, okay? Ultimately, the ultimate goal is happiness, okay? And that's going to look different for all of us. It's going to look different for different people. Keep that in mind when you're creating goals. We will do, if you're interested, we'll do a whole workshop on goal setting, okay, the advanced way. It's really simple. But if you're interested in that, we'll do another workshop on that. But for today, you know, do keep in mind that happiness is the ultimate goal. Money is not going to make you happy. Health is not going to make you happy, okay? A relationship is not going to make you happy. Family is not going to make you happy. Okay, traveling all around the world is not going to make you happy. Will they bring you happiness? Absolutely. Will they together add to, infuse happiness within you? Absolutely. Happiness ultimately, my friends, is a decision. Okay, we're not here really to talk about that today, but it would be very inept of me not to mention happiness before we get into the 5 principles and how to move forward so you can create incredible results. It would be, I think it wouldn't be very ethical of me to miss this very, very important bit out. Okay, happiness is a decision. Okay, so let's move on to where this comes from, because I think that's very, very important indeed. When I was a sales director, I got headhunted by a very, very cool consortium of business people based in California in the USA. And unfortunately, I never got to California. I used to work from home in the UK, and I was running the kind of European time zone of that operation. And whenever they wanted us to meet, they would fly me to New York City because they wanted to get out of California. So we'd always meet in New York City. So the one time that they did invite me to California, Laguna Beach, I can't remember what happened, but something happened that year and we couldn't fly, and that got cancelled. And then we ended up meeting the next year in New York anyway. But Russ was the owner of a company that was part of this consortium. And he was a pretty similar age to me, extremely successful, born and brought up in California, Italian-American background, very, very cool guy. I was his sales director, and I was the guy that was doing all the sales training for his private clients. He had a coaching business. And at that time, when I met him, he was probably doing about $500,000 to $1 million turnover a month. Okay. He had a great business, but he had a very lean business, 0 officers, everyone working from home, and he was living the life. He lived and breathed income, lifestyle, legacy, income, lifestyle, legacy. Okay. And one day when we were discussing training in a small group on Zoom back in the day, when Zoom first came out, actually, and I asked him a question. I said, Russ, so tell me your background, like what lit you up? How did you get here? He had an incredible story, which I'm not going to share here. That's something you can maybe garner from him at some point, but incredible story. And he said to me that, he was doing some programs in online marketing. And this is when he kind of got all of this stuff and put it all together and started to use it very aggressively. And it just worked. So we started to teach it to all of our members in our coaching business. And we used to charge them guys a lot of money. So please don't think, this training and Matt's doing, it's a complimentary training. I'll turn up, I'll kind of half listen, I won't use it. I'll just maybe get a couple of ideas. It's up to you, of course. But, we have charged a lot of money for this training. And, it's really a very great thing for us to be able to give it to you absolutely complimentary. So please respect it, use it. It works and it will work for you. And there'll be nothing happier for me than to see you getting absolutely phenomenal results, okay, using this system. Yeah, thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. So I want to give you a bit of Russ's background so you can relate to what I'm saying, because some of you on this call are very successful. And there's others on the call that maybe your time hasn't come yet. And I'm really passionate about encouraging those people today. This is going to be for everyone. There will be people on this call that have already made huge figures and amounts in networking, in business, etc. But there's going to be people on this call that are still struggling to pay their bills. There's going to be people on this call that still don't know if they're going to make it. And I want to speak to you, especially tonight, because this is who this system is designed of. It's very easy to look at the big guys in the company and the super women, and all of that. And it can sometimes be a little bit of a gap between where you are and where they are. And that can actually cause you to stumble. It can cause you to not believe that you can do it. And of course, what you believe will start to prophesy and create energy and results in your life. So I want to challenge that today, and I want to speak to you. So if you're one of those people, please, 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 just do me the favor to stay on the call today, because I really, really want to speak to you. I want to speak into your life, and I want to help you to see what is possible today. This isn't a hype business. This isn't a motivational speech. I'm not here to like hype you up and then you get all excited, and in 2 days time, like the excitement's gone and it's like, well, that was nice. It was kind of like going to a party. I'm here to give you real tangible stuff that's going to create results in your life. And that's what I loved about Russ's story. I loved about how this system was born. And it really spoke to me, because there's been times in my life, guys, where I've had nothing, like literally nothing. I'm not going to go into that today because it's not about me and it's not about my story. But I just want to impress upon you, just like this guy that I signed up today. When I started in network marketing, I had zero skill. I had zero ability. I had zero confidence, zero results, zero records. And it stinks. It stinks. And 10 years later, I'm like pinching myself today going, I signed him. Wow. Wow. And it's due to this type of system that we're giving you here today, guys. And you can place that into anything. You know, Russ was an interesting guy, grew up in a broken family. There's a whole backstory there. And he ended up as a barman in LA, like serving cocktails. Now, if you're from the UK and you haven't been to the US, you haven't been to LA, like me, I hadn't been to the LA at that time. That kind of sounds pretty cool, right? You're a barman, you know, in LA, you know, that sounds really cool. Film stars walking in. Russ said, Matt, it was nothing like that. It was like the downtown part of LA, really seedy place. It's like he used to wonder if he's going to get robbed coming out of there. It was just like the worst place you'd want to work. He even at sometimes kind of felt like, should I be working in Kentucky Fried Chicken instead of this bar? But the thing with a bar is you can work the tips. So like you get people that come in and trying to impress the girl, or the girl's trying to impress the guy or whatever, and they're tipping. So he knew how to work those tips. And he said, I'm basically living off the tips, right? Because by the time he's paid his like petrol, as they say in the US, gas to get there, and you know, he's paid his meal and he's got his suit dry cleaned or whatever he does, by the time he gets home and he's paid his expenses, he's got nothing except his tips to live on. And he said, Matt, he had such a broken mindset in those days. Sometimes he'd get there and he'd pray that he'd have enough tips to put gas in his car to come home. And he said it was just awful. It was just like the worst kind of existence that anyone could have. Obviously, compared to some things, it probably wasn't, but in Russ's world, it was pretty poor. And he said one night he got into the car, he'd made no money. It was like raining, which is probably a crime in LA, right? And, you know, the car had broken down and he couldn't get home. He had no like money. He had no way to get home. And he's sitting in this car. He's just done a long shift and he's got like no tips. And he's going home to like a kind of rundown apartment anyway. And he just thought, man, is this it? Is this what it's about? And he said in that time, he just had a eureka moment and he got really creative because he didn't really have much choice. And he got some stuff together. He didn't really go into what that was. And he quit his job. He went home. He got something together. He did a course in internet marketing. This is like probably about 15 years ago, guys, when like everyone was doing online launches and it was just crazy and nobody knew how to do that stuff. So it's a different era to now. And he just started doing his launches. And within 3 or 4 months, he had made over 6 figures, which for a first time internet marketing launch was like unheard of. Now you got to remember, with an internet marketing launch, it's like it's one launch. You're selling like they used to sell products via email and stuff like that. He made over 6 figures. And then he started to teach people how to do that. And this is where this system came from. Now, if you just joined the call, this has nothing to do with internet marketing or launches. Please understand, there's nothing we're going to sell you at the back end. This is just a complimentary training that's designed to help you get out of wherever you're at and into the upgraded version of your life. Because what juices me, guys, is like seeing people like Phil, like living their dreams. I don't even know what that is, right? It's like people like, Boris doing something at a much higher level than he's ever done before. It's like, people, I don't know if Pretty's on the call, but like, traveling around where maybe she hasn't traveled before. I don't know, I'm just like throwing things out here, right? That's what's going to juice me. And that's why I, from a selfish point of view, am delivering this training, okay? And I can tell you as well, if you apply this stuff to your Bit Sports business or whatever network marketing company you're in, right? We love you all, okay? Well, most of you, this is going to get you results like you wouldn't believe. Don't ask me how, but it does. I can actually explain scientifically how, but I'm not going to bore you with all of that today. Just before we get into the 5 key principles, let me just do a little check, because if you were in a restaurant and I was serving you food, I'd come and ask you, like, how are you feeling? Is it okay? Do you feel all right? Hey, CJ, great to see you on the call. Thomas, Nico, Stuart Murray, great to see you, my friend. Robert Spa. Just give me a little feedback. Are you enjoying this? Is it terribly boring? Is it really boring? Just let me know if you are enjoying it so far. And if you understand it, I'd really like to hear from someone at least. That'd be really good. Just put it in the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good, Thomas. Love it, CJ. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hakan, thank you. Primos, Stuart. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Stuart. Really appreciate the feedback, guys. Arno's here. Wow, Arno. Love it. Phil Livesley is in the house. Kellereng. Great to have you here, Kellereng. Thank you for your feedback. So where is Russ today? Well, Russ is still running his coaching business, the same one that I used to work for. They are doing between 12 and 15 million in personal income, I believe, right now. And, they're using this stuff. And these are the 5 key principles. There were 7 principles. What I've done is I've kind of simplified it a little bit, because I find if you give people, like I said yesterday, things in 3s and things in 5s, they can really, really handle them. So I've used my sort of NLP coach background to kind of simplify things a little bit. Janos, great to have you here. Fabian, good. Great to have you here. And Raheem is here as well. Hey, Raheem, hope you're well. So the first one is come from the victory. We're going to dig into that. The next one is act as if. The third one is focus on what you want. The fourth is scheduled and intentional living. And the fifth one is the one that we've just done, which is income, lifestyle, legacy, fulfillment criteria. And guys, that last one is so important. We teach it first, okay? It's so important because, it's always going to be moving. When you become a 6-figure earner, and, in Bit Sports, I've just done that again in my first 11 weeks. It's not that fulfilling for me. People are getting really excited about it, but I want to do the 500,000. And guess what happens when I get to the 500,000? It's not going to be that exciting, because you've just done it. You want to do the 1 million. And then when you get to the 1 million, it's not going to be that exciting, guys. So this is a moving piece, right? The income you're having now and dreaming about in the future, when you get there, you want to have something more, okay? Or you want to do it differently, or you want to, make it more efficient, okay? Or you want to scale it and duplicate it down your lines, right? The same with the lifestyle. I remember back in the day, I used to work in sales. I was a sales director. And we had offices, Stuart will probably know where this is, but we had offices just above Bond Street Tube Station, which is the back end of Mayfair. It's Mayfair, but it's not real Mayfair. It's sort of South Molton Street. We had offices down there. And my boss liked to have a drink, okay? And so every single day, he would drag all of us to a restaurant just because he wanted a drink. And, you know, it's nice to have a drink, it's nice to have a Chinese dinner, but, you know, every single day it gets a little bit too much. I got so bored of fancy dining, it was unbelievable. Whereas 2 years before I joined that job, I'd not really been in these fancy restaurants in London before, you know? And I thought, wow, that would be really cool to go. And all of a sudden I'm doing it every day. And it's honestly the most, you just want a home cooked meal or nothing at all, right? So remember, fulfillment, your fulfillment criteria will constantly be moving, and you've got to direct that. That's very important. And also for those of you that have clients, those of you like Stuart's in business, is a friend of mine, you know, he runs a very exciting business. You know, they'll be dealing with business owners and CEOs and busy executives and professionals. You want to be looking out for where their gaps are in income, lifestyle, legacy, okay? Because it is a balance, and you're never going to get that balance 100%, okay? And that's where the growth is, and that's where the work really is, okay? So we're going to go into each of these. They are very, very simple, guys. And I love that because we can duplicate these, but also you can literally remember these and you can get on with it and start to implement them. Now, before we go into each of those 5 pieces in a little bit more detail, there is the formula, okay? This is not mine. Literally nothing in this presentation is mine. If anyone tells you it's theirs, it's not. You know, this is all based on ancient wisdom that's come down through the ages, okay? There's nothing new under the sun. We've just put it together in a way that modern 2023 business and entrepreneur people can digest, okay? The be, do, have formula. I believe this comes from the Sanskrit. I can't remember what the Sanskrit is. If someone knows, put it in the chat. But be, do, have absolutely works. So the first piece of the formula is based on this premise. If you want to have something, if Fabian wants to have a brand new Mercedes-Benz, okay, he's going to have to do something that he's not presently doing. Now, that might involve him just ringing up his rich uncle and saying, hey, uncle, do you fancy buying me a Mercedes-Benz? And if he's got enough rich uncles, one of them may do that for him, okay? He's still got to do something, even if it's just go down to the bleeding, you know, dealership and pick up the keys. In order for Fabian to have something, he has to do something. So in business, if you want a result, if you want to hit your rank, like you want to become a silver, or you want to become a sapphire, you want to go to Dubai, or you want 10 members of your team to go to Dubai, to qualify to Dubai in BIT Sports, there's something that you're going to have to do. Now, we all know that. If you want to earn money, you've got to go to work. If you want to become a doctor, you've got to study. I mean, that's pretty obvious, right? We get that. But there's a piece before that that's equally, if not more important. I personally, my viewpoint is that it's more important, okay? And that is the be. Who are you being? I became a 6-figure earner in this industry after a year of really collapse, okay? I did the 6 figures just around the beginning of my first year in network marketing, but the first year was a disaster. I was absolutely hopeless. The only thing keeping me here was I had to figure this thing out. That's the only thing that kept me here 10 years ago. But I became a 6-figure earner long before I had 6 figures in my hand. I started to model the guys. One of them was a guy that I've signed up today. I started to model the way they talked and the language they used and their habits and even how they'd eat and, you know, where they'd go, what they'd do before the meeting. They were doing little rituals and stuff, not rituals, but, you know, they wouldn't just endlessly talk before the meeting. They'd be having little coffee meetings before. There were things they were doing. There were people they were talking to. They had a certain way of presenting themselves. They were always presenting from the front. They weren't hiding at the back. Or if they were at the back, they were doing something that no one else was doing, okay? And I started to model these behaviors. And as I started to be a 6 or 7 figure earner in my being, I started to do things differently. So the be, do, have. Many of you will have read The Secret, and I'm certainly not here to knock that good work. But in The Secret, a lot of the experts, and many of you will know this, when they came together, including Bob Proctor, they were very unhappy that the makers of The Secret took the doing out of the equation, because they wanted to create something that was very easy for people to digest, because it would sell more of the book and the film. And Bob Proctor himself, the late Bob Proctor, God rest his soul, he was not happy at all that they took the doing out. But once they got the kind of celebrity personal development experts, you know, to give their pieces, they then contractually moved on without them, and they took the doing bit out. So now The Secret has gone around the world, and you've got a generation of entrepreneurs and personal development devotees that think you can just be and have. I'm sorry, guys, there's something called the work, okay? And of course, there are more efficient ways of doing work. So be, do, have. If you want something in your life, who are you going to be that enables you to do the work, to have that, or to do the actions? And one proof of your being is, what are you doing? So if someone says to me, Matt, I'm going to be a six-figure earner, I meditate all day long, I feel the vibration, I bring down the energy, I wear the same suits as a six-figure earner or whatever, you know, I say, what are you doing on a day-to-day basis? And if they say, well, nothing, because the energy is going to align with, sorry, the doing is the evidence that you're being. So, you know, the doing, the results will come from the doing. The being enables you to do the work efficiently and in the most prosperous way. Okay, so I hope that really makes sense. If there's no doing, guys, run a mile, because that is not reality. And from a metaphysical point of view, you know, if you want to understand the science, and we don't really have too much time to go into it, you know, the being is about the energy and the receptors of the right energy, ideas, creative flow, etc., and states, performance states. In our NLP that we coach and train, it's all about performance states, okay? And that brings energy to the table, which is like fuel. You've still got to put the fuel in the car. The doing brings the energy from the metaphysical realm and translates it, I'm giving a very simplified version, into real world tangible results in the physical realm. So if you want to have the physical Mercedes-Benz, you got to do something. If you just want the Mercedes-Benz, I don't know why I'm talking about Mercedes-Benz, because I don't even like them. And if anyone's got a Mercedes-Benz, that's just my thing. That's nothing to do. I'm not even into them. But, you know, if you want to have the physical thing, you actually have to do something. Okay. So I hope that that helps there. Okay. When you can set your being and you're committed to a goal, you are establishing an intention. Intention is very powerful. One of the things this eight-figure earner asked me yesterday, I've been working with him on 2 weeks, just getting him aligned to the vision, the values of Bit Sports, getting him aligned to the opportunity, getting him aligned to the culture, getting him aligned to the USPs which we have, which make us totally different from anybody else. And if you're in another network marketing company, that's not a slight on you. I'm sure you've got stuff in your sector and your field that is equally as cool, and we respect that as well. Of course we do. So, you know, one thing he said to me is, he said, Matt, are you only doing this business? Do you do other businesses? I said, no, I'm all in on this. I fly the flag. I'm all in. He said, I can see your intention. And that's what he was looking for, because he's going to be putting some very high net worth individuals in front of me so I can present the business to them. That's how he works. He's an old school networker. He wanted to see and understand my intention. So when you have an intention, guys, to be a diamond in this business, or an ambassador in this business, or a seven-figure earner, or a man or woman who travels around the world presenting this business as an example, when you have that intention, you have to set that intention. It's got to be clear as crystal. You've got to prioritize that intention, or you'll get distracted by shiny object syndrome. You've got to align your intention physically with your goal. And then when you speak, that intention is communicating like a sword, out of your mouth. You're living your intention. Now you might say, well, Matt, how do I do that? Well, if you keep coming to some of these training calls, we'll show you how to do it strategically in flow state from your unconscious. So you can literally just turn up at a presentation and speak and it will happen. And that's a little bit more advanced, but it's actually quite simple and we will get there. And most of you probably don't even need to go there. But if you use these 5 pieces that I'm going to give you and you use them religiously, all that you see on the screen with intention will be happening, okay? It will be happening. And so you will feel your intention is stronger and stronger and stronger. And that's very attractive to people because you've got to ask yourself the question, do people want to work with uncertain people or do they want to work with people that are certain and have a solid and sharp intention? That's a question. If you want to answer that in the chat, please feel free to do that, okay? So we're going to go back into the slides. So you can, using this, create massive synergy in your energy, in your power, in your strategy, and most importantly, in your results. So let's talk about the first one, come from the victory. So many networkers, okay, they are trying to get a prospect. They are trying to hit a rank. They are trying to earn an income. They are trying to get there one day. Good luck. That's the hard way. And I don't believe in luck, by the way. I believe in fortune. So I put that out there from my unconscious. Good luck. Good fortune. You know, the top achievers in anything, they start with the victory, okay? So when I started Bit Sports, I didn't come here trying to make a 6-figure income. I didn't come here trying to make a 7-figure income. I didn't come here trying to be the top earner. When I joined, when Lewis called me up and said, Matt, I want you in this thing. That's literally what he said to me. I mean, how crazy is that? He didn't pitch me. He didn't show me anything. He rang me up. He said, Matt, I want you in this thing. He didn't even say a business. I didn't know what it was. I don't know if he's selling hot dogs or what. He said, Matt, I want you in this thing, right? His intention was so sure. I literally just went, yeah, okay, sure. What is it? and that's his intention, like a sword. Boom. His mindset, absolutely sharp. And then we had the conversation, obviously. I looked at it and I loved it, of course, right? But here's the thing, right? When I joined, when I made the decision, I said to my wife, I said, I'm joining this thing Lewis is in, and I'm going to rock it. I decided from the beginning day, I am going to be victorious. And for me, I'm not going to share it here, but that was X, Y, Z, 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 Z. I even had a vision of going to Colombia, and Colombia wasn't even on the table. They were talking about Dubai. And then all of a sudden, Lewis rings me up a month in and goes, do you want to come to Colombia? And I'm like, wow, I already had that in my unconscious mind and put it out there, right? So, you know, here's the thing, right? We as networkers, as business people, as ambitious driven individuals, we don't start trying to get a victory. We start from the victory. One thing I said in Colombia, we had a few MMA guys in the room, you know, like the UFC guys. One of them was from Russia. He's like a champion MMA fighter from Russia. And I said, do you remember Mike Tyson back in the day, the boxer, right? When he used to come in the ring, you could literally, we used to watch him on the TV, and you could literally just see in his eyes, he's already won. He's already won the fight before he even gets in the ring. And then you look at the other guy, and you just look at him and you think he's already lost the fight before he's got in the ring, okay? There is zero trying, guys. Success is achieved before we even begin. And one thing I got to say, if you're going to influence people, if you're going to promote something, if you're going to build a team, if you're going to lead people, certainty is king or queen. You know, they say cash flow is king. Certainty, my friends, is absolutely where it is. So principle number 1, come from the victory. If you feel yourself coming from another place, check yourself, realign your intention, come from the victory. That is very, very important. Number 2, act as if. Now, this one is often confused with fake it till you make it. I don't like fake it till you make it. I don't like fake. Nobody wants a fake Rolex. Nobody wants a fake BMW, okay? I don't think they do anyway, right? Nobody wants a fake business or a fake person in their life or a fake pretty much anything, okay? Fake it till you make it is like a kind of sleazy, seedy version of a deeper truth, okay? Act as if is not trying to be something you're not. Act as if is not cutting your cloth unaccording to, sorry, cutting your coat unaccording to your cloth, as we say in the English language, okay? Acting as if is actually being, it's practicing the being of being your victor, being where you actually want to be. So one thing for me that was very important for me, and again, this was just for me, was I watched how these six-figure earners would present. They had really good laptops. They had, you know, everything. They had all the equipment, the clickers. They had everything in those days when we used to present. And I had a not a battered old laptop, but I had an old laptop and didn't really look its best. And it used to be really slow to wire up and all of that. And I started to invest in technology. So when I got in a room, I had everything there. I had a spare laptop. I had the real laptop. Everything was there. It was fast. It was efficient. And I started to know a difference. I had to upgrade my car. Now, I'm not saying go out and upgrade your car just because, but I started to notice, like, I'd drive up to the event and people would be looking at the car. Okay. I started traveling in business. Now, I'm not saying blow your budget and travel in business because that's not always a great idea for everybody. You still have to use your brain. But for me, I felt that when I was a 6 or 7 figure earner, I'd be traveling business class. And so I started to do that really before I could afford it. I saw it as an investment. And, you know, in the UK, I'd rather give that to the airlines than the taxman. But, you know, for me, that was an important upgrade for me. And as I started to do those things, I started to elevate my being, okay? Doesn't have to be financial, guys. It might just be the way you turn up. Does a 6 or 7 figure earner turn up early or late? Now, a lot of people go, he turns up early. Not always, not always. In some cultures, the later you are, the more important you are. You know, if in some cultures, if you turn up late, that's actually how you're meant to be. So again, there are cultural differences, okay? That's just the way it is. For me, in my culture in the UK, I noticed that all these top guys, they were staying the night before in a hotel close by to the venue because they were having breakfast together and doing their meetings and strategizing and meeting all the top earners. And then they would come to the meeting, whereas all the normal members were driving down or getting on the train down on the day. So I started to change the way I did things. So acting as if, use your brain, don't blow your budget, guys, necessarily. Doesn't have to be about financials, but acting as if is, how would you behave? How would you be once you have your target goal in mind? And then start to do that in pieces, okay? That is very, very, very important, okay? Yeah, Thomas, you should be able to see the slides. I will share the recording as well, but I'm sharing my screen, so you should all be able to see these slides, and I can send them to you as well, of course, if you want them, okay? This third one, again, is very important. So remember, if you, okay, are putting these principles in place, you will be aligning your attention, your intention to massive results coming from the victory, acting as if, and now focusing on what you want. We're talking razor sharp focus here. I get so many guys that go, Matt, I want to be the top earner. Okay, so what does that mean? What exactly does that mean in terms of income? What rank will you be? How big will your team be? Where will your team be? What kind of income will you be doing on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis? What does that actually mean? They don't know. You've got to be razor sharp focus. Again, I'm not here to knock anybody. I know that modern networkers sometimes do 2, 3, 4 companies. I'm okay with that. It's not my style, but it doesn't mean that it's not okay. I respect people's model of the world, right? But for me personally, people send me stuff every day. I don't even look at it. I'm just bit sports. I'm just like down the line. I'm just here. I'm just here because my focus is on what I want. is to be the top earner in bit sports, to be somebody that's the highest rank in bit sports. Maybe I'm not there yet, but I'm so there in my, I'm just going there. I'm razor sharp focus. Okay. Now this is important because in business, you will face meltdowns. There will be times where things don't go your way. There'll be events that are out of your control, etc. We're dealing with a people intensive business. There's stuff that's going to go on, right? You've got to build up a lot of resilience, a lot of mental toughness, a lot of, and we can do a whole training on resilience, by the way. We've got a whole training on that, but you've got to build up some characteristics that are going to take you through the storms and bring you out the other side, because a lot of people quit. A lot of people will quit on you. And sometimes when you've worked with someone, when you've invested with them, and then they quit on you, that can really create some meltdowns, some self-sabotage at the unconscious level, etc. And that can be very, very damaging indeed, okay? Achievers create massive energy towards their targets. So I want to give you a really simple example. Some of the clients that we coach, they are business people. And because they're business people, they've taken debt from the banks to scale their businesses or to, lease buildings or whatever that might be, right? And sometimes they're so focused on their debt that they start to notice a decrease in profits. Because what you focus on, what your unconscious mind focus on, is what you will start to produce more of in your life. Your unconscious mind doesn't process negatives. So if you say to a child, a young child, children up to the age of 7 generally in most cultures are very much in their unconscious mind. Then we go to school and we start to learn seriously and everything's conscious, right? But that's why children have great imagination. A few of my friends have been to see this Spider-Man film that's out at the moment, and they've taken their young children, and you can see the children all dressed up like Spider-Man. They're totally in their unconscious mind, But then we knock that out of them in the Western educational system, which is not a bad thing. You need your conscious mind, okay, to look at contracts and do all of that kind of stuff, right? We need both. But your unconscious mind is the director, okay, of what you want. So your unconscious mind has prime directives which are geared at getting you exactly what you want, and it doesn't do context. So if you say to a young child, don't cross the road, the unconscious mind doesn't process the word don't. So that child is going to cross that road. If you say to your young child, don't look in the cupboard, well, as soon as you turn your back, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to look in the cupboard, because you've given them an unconscious instruction to look in the cupboard, okay? So what you focus on is what you get. So if you're in debt right now, or if you've got results which you're not happy with, and you're focusing on those results, all that's happening is you're creating more of those results in your life. It's like you meet people that keep falling in love with the wrong person for them, right? And essentially, all that's happening is they're focusing on what they don't want. Oh, I don't want to go out with this kind of guy. I don't want to go out with this kind of girl. And then they meet someone exactly the same as last person, because their unconscious mind goes out to get them what they're focused on, because it thinks that's the command. So if you want excellent results, if you want to be a 6, 7, 8-figure earner, if you want to be a sapphire, a ruby, an emerald, enjoying the software in bit sports, or you want to be earning like 100K a month or whatever, all of that's possible. You've got to start focusing exactly on what you want and stop focusing on what you don't want, okay? Very, very important. Easier said than done, guys, because when the bills come in or the expenses come in, or you've got to travel somewhere and you haven't got the financial wherewithal to back that up, it's easier said than done. And this is where the personal development work is. But as you do this, you grow new muscles and new energy every day, and you start to move in the right direction. Very, very important. I've done this, okay? The last one here is scheduled and intentional living. The amount of networkers that I meet around the world who literally do a bit of networking when they feel like it. They do a bit of business when they feel like it. I mean, can you imagine? There's no judgment here. It just shocks me. But could you imagine like someone opening a restaurant and they just open whenever they feel like it? Like, it's Saturday night tonight, I'm not really in the mood. Like, that's your main night of business. Okay. Like, we've got to treat our business like a business. Like, there's four basic, departments in a business, right? There's like lead generation, four basic functions, which is marketing. There's conversion, which is sales. So you've got the marketing department, the sales department. There's operations, which runs a business. Okay. And then there's the financials, which is the accounting and management of the finances, right? These are the basic four functions of a business. Okay. Like, how many of you are doing this in your network marketing business? Like, do you have time to focus on lead generation? Do you have time to focus on the conversion, the business development side of things? What about the operations, like doing the admin, doing the support, doing the basic functions, and then the financial? Are you're managing the funds that you're making? Are you looking at? You have this, scheduled and intentional living. Okay. How many networkers do I know that literally don't have time blocked out in the diary? I'm going to London tomorrow to see my mum. She lives in London, and I've had to schedule out a whole day to go down there. Not really looking forward to the drive, but I'm very much looking forward to seeing my mum. That has to be scheduled out of a working week, and then the time that I'm losing by going there, I have to refactor that back into my working life, right? This is all planned. The biggest earners in this industry, their life runs like clockwork. They audit time, they audit people around them, they audit the places where they go and where they hang out. The whole thing is audited very, very carefully and professionally. Okay. Now, again, do this in steps. If your life is totally the opposite of that, don't expect tomorrow to just be running like clockwork. It may happen, but do this in steps. Have an implementable strategy to start to build into this. And, we have sponsors in network marketing. We have sponsors. Talk to your sponsor. Hopefully your sponsor is more successful than you, right? So talk to your sponsor and find out what they're doing that you're not doing it. And then if you can't talk to your sponsor, go upline a little bit. Find out, where the guys that are getting results are, or the girls that are getting results, and see what they're doing. Or there may not even be people that are getting results. They may just be product users, but they have successful businesses or whatever outside of careers. There's things that they've got. And part of this training we're going to be doing, not every Tuesday, but probably once a month, we're going to drop some high quality trainings like this for you. We're going to give you a lot of these tools, guys, because what I want to do, especially for the Bit Sports people, but also for our other friends in networking, is I want to give you the trainings, the tools, the implementation strategies, the strategic thinking, and there's a whole gamut of tools that we can give you that high level, professionally paid executives would get, because that's who we are, guys. We've got to raise the bar. There's too many people out there going, I'm a network marketer, right? And feeling like sorry for themselves, but we're actually highly paid professionals building huge, enormous, prosperous businesses internationally around the world, impacting cultures, people groups, you name it. I mean, we are the most important people on the planet, right? So we want to give you the highest level trainings, and that's really important to me. Okay. And I'm telling you, we're just starting off right now. We got some material that's going to blow your mind. Like, it's literally going to change your life inside, outside, if you just take it and utilize it. Okay. The last thing on scheduled and intentional living, their interactions are strategic and intentional. They are not wasting time, guys. Everything, their friendships are strategic. It's intentional. They're creating win-win-wins. And those win-win-wins might not all be about business, guys. They are about income, lifestyle, and legacy. So there you have it. 5 big pieces. Okay. Come from the victory. Start with a victory. Okay. Act, as if it's really, really important, that you act as if, okay. Focus exactly on what you want, scheduled and intentional living like clockwork. And then the last piece, and obviously the first piece, which you all know about, is that fulfillment criteria of income, lifestyle, and legacy. And when you put all of that together, you will succeed, you will lead your teams, and you can do a whole gamut of strategic things with that, even in conversational. So we can take all of this, which is kind of personal development, and we can also drop this into our communication for our conversations with our prospects for conversions. We'll teach that another day but I've got to get you to this bit first so we can raise the mindset, be, do, have. You've got the 5 principles and you understand the fulfillment criteria. Okay, very, very important. Really good quote, I think, from Robin Sharma. If you've never read any of his work, I think he's absolutely brilliant. He's the guy that wrote The Monk That Had a Ferrari.